I had a client once who, because they wanted to have a drink, I said, actually
have a Campari.
I said, have a Campari before you eat, because it's going to, whilst the alcohol isn't so fantastic for your liver, it's going to help your digestion. Anyway, about a month later, I had a client come in who wanted to talk to me about the Campari diet that I had recommended to his friend. Welcome to the Wellness Breakdown. I'm Rose Ferguson.
And I'm Eve Kalinik, and we are super excited that we are now YouTubing our podcast, which means that not only can you listen to it on an audio format, but you can also watch us on video. The podcast basically works with Rose and I setting challenges for each other based on specific wellness trends and fads that we know a lot of you guys are interested in, and that's kind of how the podcast came about, right?
If you have anything that you would like us to look into or investigate further, any fads or crazy stuff you're trying, then let us know, because we love to hear from you.
And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. We're very happy that Ancient and Brave is back as our season sponsor. They have an incredible range of collagen supplements, MCT oil, and nootropic blends. As well as nourishing your skin, hair, and nails, collagen has been associated with whole body health benefits, which may include supporting joints and muscles to gut health.
Eve and I are both fans of supplementing collagen, but not all collagen is created equal. Ancient and Brave's is beautifully pure, highly absorbable, and clinically researched. Also, very easy to take as part of your everyday ritual, as it's also odourless and tasteless. Perfect added to your morning coffee or daily cacao.
Consistency is key when taking supplements, and to get you started, Ancient and Brave is offering 20% off your first 3 orders when you subscribe with the code WELLNESS20.
Ancient and Brave are passionate about sustainability. They are a B Corp and a member of the powerful global initiative 1% for the planet. So 1% of all sales go towards environmental causes that protect the planet. So buying their products means you're supporting the planet too.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Wellness Breakdown. Lots of you are getting in touch with your various fads, so it's great to hear from you, and please do keep them coming in.
Yes, we're always happy to try out a suggestion or offer advice on what you're doing. But for now, it is Eve's turn to do the testing. And actually, this suggestion came from one of you lovely listeners who wanted to know more about this.
I don't know why I get so nervous when we set these challenges, Rose, particularly when you're kind of like, there's this like wry smile going on. So go on, hit me with it.
It's really not that bad. So a listener wrote in and wanted to know more about liver flushing and doing a liver flush. So I thought, well, that's a good thing for Eve to do, because it is a bit woolly, liver flushing. It's a bit of, I don't know a better word or more academic term. Silly, woolly. Yeah. I don't know silly. Some people really love them, but I wouldn't use it for my patients. But having said that, the health of the liver is totally crucial. I feel like it gets, your focus is on gut. I focus a lot on the liver in my clinic. It has a lot to deal with, the liver does. And we throw so much at it on a daily basis. It's whether it's pesticides, pollution in the air. I think people think when you talk about liver health, they think of alcohol. It's so much more than that. But, there's what's in the water, what's in your meat, what's covering your vegetables. Also stress, hormones. It's endless. So your liver health is really key. And it works non-stop for us. 1.5 litres per minute of blood gets filtered through the liver. So it's an amazing organ, which I definitely think we could give a bit more love to. So when the listener messaged in about doing a liver flush, I thought, well, that's a really good way to open up a conversation about the liver and to get Eve to drink some special flavoured drink. But I love the way
you keep going, when the listener, it's like you're kind of like passing on the buck there.
It's not my fault.
Go on. It's not your fault at all.
I'm responding to our community, actually, young Eve. I just should say that there are potential risks around gallstones. So please don't try this if you have any issues with that. So the rules, here you go, Eve. For 2 days before the cleanse, I would like you to cut out tea, coffee and alcohol, just so that you're not... so that you haven't had a half bottle of red wine the night before you do this. Then for 5 days of the cleanse, you need to drink the following liver flush drink. So first thing in the morning, before you drink anything, I want you to liquidize together some lemon juice, spring water, fresh garlic, a tablespoon of olive oil, and some freshly grated ginger. It packs a punch. I think it's delicious, but it packs a punch. Anyway, so you blend it until smooth and drink it. 15 minutes later, you can have some peppermint tea. And then during the 7 days of preparation and cleansing, you need to eat regularly. Common sense, eat whole foods and plenty of vegetables and soaked and fermented whole grains, light proteins, pulses and lentils and all those things. See, not too bad. Not too bad. How do you feel?
Listen, first off, I'm actually thankful it's not that more extreme one. Do you know there's that book that's based, I think it's literally called The Liver Flush or something. I just remember it from the fashion days. I don't know, it had a bit of a rounds going around, as it were. And it was like grapefruit juice, olive oil. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
And that's literally all you would drink in like a day, and then you had to lie on your side, and then you'd pass all these potential it was more of a like gallstone flush, but then there was like, you know, I mean, talk about controversial, but loads of people seem to be doing it. So I'm thankful it's not that, but this doesn't sound that bad if I'm really honest. I mean, that drink first thing in the morning is a bit like it's going to put the hairs on the back of your neck, but you know, I mean, I wouldn't mind having that later in the day, but first thing in the morning, like, you know, blending up garlic is a bit much, isn't it? But there you go. Like, it's not...
It's a good job a lot of things are done on Zoom nowadays, right?
Well, that is true.
Breathing,
going into clinic, they'd be like, oh my God, I mean, that's a bit much, isn't it? Yeah. So that, and the diet thing, I mean, since doing the podcast, I don't have caffeinated coffee. I mean, I have matcha and green tea, so I don't know if that counts, if I can still have that.
You can still have that.
So that's fine, and I'm not really drinking at all at the moment. So that bit, I don't care. And then the food side of things, it's basically my normal diet. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll be intrigued to see if anything happens with this, because I've never done a liver flush before. Anything like this, I find all a bit ridiculous and silly. And actually, potentially, you know, not this one so much, but like the other one that I mentioned where it's really extreme, you can actually like, you know, it's not good for your body to do anything like that extreme, and you don't really know, and there's no science at all around this stuff. So I'm not necessarily expecting much to happen, but you never know. So Rose has set me the challenge of the liver flush for 3 days. And as part of that, I have to have this concoction of garlic, lemon, olive oil, I think, and something else that I have to blend up first thing in the morning, which I'm not going to be loving. I don't think blended garlic first thing in the morning is something you really want to be eating. But there you go. The rest of it seems okay, actually. I've got to do a bit of a kind of couple of days of not having any tea, coffee or alcohol, which I've done. So I'm just going to get together the bits for this morning drink. So let's see. So first day of this liver flush challenge. And I've just made this drink, and it's a bit, I mean, it's not exactly what you want to be doing first thing in the morning, drinking liquidized garlic. So I've completed my liver flush challenge, and I can report back and say that I haven't really noticed any changes at all. I mean, not that I was really expecting anything major. I will be kind of glad to not have that weird concoction of blended ingredients in the morning. Anyway, done and dusted, and we'll chat through it all with Rose in the episode.
So, how are you feeling, Eve? You know, have you had a whole revelation? Has your body done a whole 360 after the UPF challenge now that you've done this liver flush?
Well, I don't actually feel like anything has massively shifted,
right,
if I'm really honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really thankful to stop that last challenge, the ultra processed foods one, and so I guess there was a whole kind of like, oh wow, vegetables and fresh food and stuff, but I don't know if that was anything to do with the liver flush, because that's kind of just going back to my kind of normal-ish patterns of eating. That drink in the morning was a bit bracing, A couple of the days I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I want to really be drinking liquidized garlic here. But other than that, I haven't honestly noticed anything change really. Not that I was really expecting to, and I'm not sure if I think I might have misinterpreted your rules a bit and decided it was a 3-day one and not a 5-day one.
Well, let's have a talk about the drink for a start. So you found it a bit bracing. I mean, just from a nutrition point of view, it's not bad. It's pretty, there's lots of good things in there for your immune system. I mean, having a bit of garlic every day is fantastic for the immune system. You see, because I have done this actually, even though, as I said in the when I set it out for you, I wouldn't ever use this in for a client. It's just not supported enough in any way, shape, or form by science. But when I've gone to do juice retreats, they give you an offer of a liver flush, and I will seize it with both hands because I love the taste of it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind the taste of it. I mean, all the ingredients are quite nice. I mean, I don't it's not something I would actively, I'm not like you, like going, woo, this drink is amazing or anything like that. But it tasted fine. I think it's just first thing in the morning, like just drinking garlic is a bit off-putting, isn't it? I mean, the other bits of it, like I quite like having from time to time, although my dentist would kill me, as probably do a lot of our clients' dentists, when we maybe suggest them having warm water with lemon juice in the morning. I do quite often have that, and I enjoy that, and maybe stick some ginger in it, but I probably wouldn't stick garlic in there. So it's not too dissimilar to that, if you know what I mean. I just kind of eating my normal foods, really.
You mentioned you didn't feel any difference. I mean, I don't really know that either of us were expecting you to feel any different. But what you have just mentioned is that in the morning, sometimes you will have a hot lemon or warm water and lemon. Now, the reason we do that is to stimulate the gut juices and the digestive tract, which, and seeing as you're having that tenfold in the morning with your garlic as well and the ginger with this drink, was there anything that you noticed about outside of sort of detoxification pathways? Was there anything else? Were there any benefits you noticed at all about how your digestion went in the day? Or about energy levels? You've got a nice little bit of fat coming in from the olive oil.
I guess maybe because I was having it every day for 3 days, and maybe if I was having it a bit longer, because like you say, lemon juice is really effective at stimulating bile production, and that's kind of the reason why people use it in these things and why it's been linked to that. But maybe, I don't know, maybe there was a slight improvement in my digestion, but I honestly can't say there was anything particularly dramatic that I noticed. And I absolutely love olive oil, but frankly I'd rather have that over some a lovely salad or cooked vegetables and eat it that way. Look, I'm a big proponent of doing small things on a regular, consistent basis that do support the way in which our body functions in terms of bowel movements, detoxification. So whilst I think that things like liver flushes or anything similar to that, I mean, you know me, and anyone that follows what I do knows that I'm really not into those types of things at all. Mm-hmm. But I do think that, making sure that we're mindful about putting things in on a daily basis that have compounds or certain chemical supportive effects are a positive thing. So for instance, off the back of this, if somebody was then to include more lemon juice in their diet, more garlic in their diet, if we were to take the components of the drink aside and more extra virgin olive oil in their diet, that to me is a really amazing side effect, because all of those foods we do know contain compounds, and this is proven through science, that do support detoxification pathways in the liver, which then supports our overall the health of the liver, but also like how effectively we are detoxing. I mean, none of these things are panaceas anyway, and that's the thing. If, let's say one was to do this and then start drinking a shed load of like coffee and alcohol and sticking like loads of ultra processed foods in the diet, of course, like it's not gonna do anything.
In my experience, the word detoxification has sort of become this like term for all sorts of crazy stuff that people do, like cleanses and detoxes and the spa to bar, retox to detox. I think actually what is really important that listeners understand is that we're detoxifying all day, every day. And it's an actual process that happens in the body it's a medical term, a clinical term. It's not a sort of retreat term, which I think is where it sits now. But it's a really important process. And I know that people get very het up about the idea of doing a detox or supporting detoxification pathways. And this is where I disagree, because in my mind, and actually not just my mind, it's proven that our liver has to deal with much more than it ever had to deal with ever. You know, we have high stress, so we have to deal with that cortisol. We have high pollutants, we have to deal with those. Everything is sprayed with God knows what. Most food has been processed with God knows what. And it's our little liver that has to deal with all that extra stuff. So giving it a bit of support, as you say, on a daily basis is not a bad thing. So I think things that I would use on a daily basis are delicious things like spirulinas and chlorellas, lots of green vegetables.
Delicious.
Okay,
I need to pull you up on that.
Yeah.
Spirulina, delicious.
It's not delicious.
Okay,
That's
Rose.
why I said it. It's not delicious at all. It's awful.
I mean, it's like a funky pondweed, but yeah,
you
go
can,
on.
though. You can get it in a capsule. But I'm just
All
thinking
right.
of things that support, I do think our liver...
Garlic is delicious.
Garlic
Yeah.
and olive oil and ginger, delicious. We have 2 detoxification pathways in the liver. Cruciferous vegetables are unbelievably supportive and fantastic for one of those. So get those in. And then just make sure that you are getting, if you don't feel like you're digesting food particularly well, do think about stimulating your digestive juices and your bile duct, which helps you to break down fat by taking, you can either do a bit of apple cider vinegar with water before you eat, or you can do a bit of lemon, something bitter, some bitter herbs, a little bit of herb salad.
Well, in Sweden and in Italy and Spain, they have aperitifs, don't they, which are kind of things like the Campari, which has the gentian in it and stuff. So those have been part of their culture for a long time, is to use those bitters before meals. And actually what that's doing on a biochemical level is stimulating, like you said, some of those gastric secretions to help to, as a digestive, that's what it is, to kind of help break that down.
I had a client once who, because they wanted to have a drink, I said, actually
have a Campari.
I said, have a Campari before you eat, because it's going to, whilst the alcohol isn't so fantastic for your liver, it's going to help your digestion. Anyway, about a month later, I had a client come in who wanted to talk to me about the Campari diet that I had recommended to his friend. And I was like, oh my God, it's brilliant. Like, my legacy
I'll do that
in the
next week's
healthcare
challenge.
is going to be the Campari plan. I was like, oh my God, it just made me cry laughter. I was like, how many Camparis is this person drinking, for God's sake?
That is brilliant.
I know.
Negroni as a therapeutic tool.
Yeah, exactly.
On their prescription.
I could do a whole paper on that. Maybe I'll do that for my master's instead.
Our body has amazing detoxification system. So it's not just the liver. You've got your gut, there's your skin, there's your lymphatic system. We take in a lot of things that speed up in those pathways. So we take in the liver lots of foods that speed up pathway 1, which means pathway 2 is then completely overloaded. So we need to take in things like the garlic. Curcumin is another one that's actually really supportive for that pathway. All that crap that I was eating in last week's challenge, or the challenge a couple of weeks ago, that stuff is all speeding up phase 1. So by the time, our liver's got all this even more crap to deal with in phase 2. So yeah, day to day for sure.
So thank you for doing that, Eve. It's really, it's good for us to do things that don't always work and don't have an effect, and report back. So it's been interesting talking to you about that. I don't think either of us, as I said, really thought that it would, change your life. But I think it's good to talk about the liver, because I think the liver gets ignored a little bit. I have an email here from Adam. Remember, you can always email us on info@thewellnessbreakdown.co.uk. So Adam says, what does he say? He says he enjoys a fast, but like Rose, finds water fasting so boring. Give me a juice fast any day. Yes, Adam, that's my boy.
Yeah, I'd rather not do that, actually. In fact, I would probably rather do a water fast over a juice fast again.
Yeah, well,
that juicer is still very much locked away in the cupboard, Rose, collecting dust.
Oh dear.
Anyway, Angela says she's loving seeing us on YouTube. She's a long time follower to the podcast, and it's so nice to see us. Oh, that's sweet.
That's nice.
Okay, so that's it for this week. What are you up to, Rose?
I've got just quite a worky week this week, and then I've got to talk Thursday. I'm looking forward to the weekend. What about you?
Well, I've got a few lunches and brunches and that type of thing. Nothing with ultra processed foods, thank God, or liver flush drinks involved. And then I'm planning a bit of a nice mini break somewhere. So if anyone's got any recommendations, I'm now using the podcast for holiday recommendations, Rose. Do you like that?
I do. I love that actually, because I want to hear what people recommend too.
Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us here on the Wellness Breakdown. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye.